Welcome to this new edition of the Smart Energy Talks. Today, we are presenting a new study published by smartEn in collaboration with DNV on the quantification of benefits from demand-side flexibility in 2030. In the current context of the energy crisis, policymakers and system operators are trying to figure out how to manage a reliable energy system that is decarbonized and resilient while allowing consumers to pay a fair energy price. Demand-side flexibility is part of this solution. And this is the first study to truly quantify the benefits that demand-side flexibility can bring to the energy system, to the European markets and to all its consumers. We're sitting here today with Aurora Saez Armenteros, Senior Consultant at DNV and also the lead author of this study. So, Aurora, what is this study?
So this study quantifies the benefits of the full deployment of demand-side flexibility in 2030 in the whole EU, and how can it contribute to the reduction of greenhouse emissions set by Fit for 55 package. And, well, in other words, how much can the system and the consumers save if all of this potential of flexibility, for example, from buildings, from industry, electric vehicles and batteries, is made available to the markets.
What are the benefits for wholesale markets, but also for security of supply?
So in the wholesale markets, we see many benefits, but to highlight one is the massive reduction in energy prices that we see. This reduction is achieved due to the optimization of the demand and the generation to achieve the maximum system efficiency. This is achieved through the reduction of renewable energy curtailment and also the use of less expensive fuels. To put a number on it, what we see is that the energy would cost 301 billion euro less, thanks to this optimization of demand and generation in the overall system. And regarding security of supply, we see that demand-side flexibility can avoid the need of 60 gigawatts of big capacity generation in the system in 2030.
With the current rate of electrification, we see a large deployment of distributed energy resources at a local level. How can a distribution grid operator benefit from these resources and from the activation of demand-side flexibility?
Before I answer that question, I think it's important to note that activation of flexibility in the market and in a grid-friendly way doesn't always go hand in hand. Having said that, distribution system operators can also benefit massively from the deployment of demand-side flexibility. On one hand, they benefit due to the effect of self-consumption and collective self-consumption, and on the other hand, they could also use that flexibility for managing congestions in their grid. Eventually, this would translate into the avoidance of investments on grid reinforcement. In our study, we see that these savings can amount to between 11 and 29 billion euro.
We have talked about wholesale benefits, security of supply, and the benefits for distribution grid operators. But energy consumers are ultimately the ones that are taking the hardest hit in the current energy crisis and with the current prices. How can they benefit from the activation of demand-side flexibility?
So that's a great question, because all these benefits that we've just talked about, they will ultimately translate to the end consumer through their energy bills as well as the network tariffs that they will face in the future. I think the main message is in the end that not only the consumers that have flexible assets and that actively participate in the markets profit from this, but the overall system and all consumers will. And And to put a number to this, when we add all these benefits that we've discussed on infrastructure, on balancing, and as well as wholesale, we would amount to over 300 billion euro that could be saved by consumers in 2030 if all the demand-side flexibility potential is achieved.
So it's a significant savings, not just for the owners of the assets, but all consumers at large.
Absolutely. Everyone benefits from this.
With this study, the benefits from demand-side flexibility are much more evident. But we have to remind ourselves that these are potential benefits. To truly unlock the full potential of demand-side flexibility, we have to fully implement the electricity market design and make sure to overcome the barriers that are still limiting the deployment of demand-side flexibility. This will allow demand-side flexibility to play a significant role in a clean energy transition that is fair to all energy consumers. Thank you, Aurora, for joining us today and for highlighting the main figures of this report. And thank you all for joining this Smart Energy Talk. These are just some of the figures in the report. Please go to our website and download the full report to learn what the role of demand-side flexibility could be in 2030.